This is my original e-bike, an Orbea Katu E10LR, and this is the 10-way Seago 800S that they sent me last year. Now, amongst the many differences between these two bikes, one of the significant ones in terms of the types and styles of bikes you can get is that this one is, well, it's not quite, but it's basically a crossbar bike with a bar going across here, and this one is a step-through bike, so you would step through the frame in order to mount it. Okay? Now, there's a lot of odd toxic masculinity involved with step-through bikes. These are sometimes called women's bikes, girls' bikes, and historically that might have been true because this was a way that you could wear a skirt and get onto a bike. But a lot of people, we're trying to dispel that, right? We're trying to get away from that archaic thinking, not least because this can be much more accessible for a bunch of people, depending on your physical abilities. I don't really care that much about it. I don't find that much easier to get on than this bike. In fact, my brain had been riding this bike for so long that sometimes I find a step-through frame breaks me a little bit, and because the tail on this one is much longer than on this one, if I try to mount this in a traditional way by kicking my leg up and over the back, I can sometimes come a cropper. That's not what I want to talk about today. What I want to talk about is this bike has a flat rear tyre. Don't know why, it has a flat rear tyre. And when I went to pump it up to see if that would resolve it, actually I noticed that the valve is faulty. Something like the bike fell over, something's got damaged, it needs looked at by somebody who knows what they're doing, and that's not me. I'm happy to outsource that kind of stuff. I've got no particular desire to become a bike mechanic. So I would ordinarily just, if there's a problem with the bike, take it to my local bike shop. Problem is, the style of bike rack I have for my car requires a crossbar, requires you to have to take this bike and put it on two poles that attach to the back hatch of my little car. And I can't do that with this bike. And I can't do that with my wife's bike, which is also a step-through frame. There are solutions to this. You can buy cross frames that you attach physically to the bike to create that thing you could hang the bike on, but I'm a little bit dubious. I would much prefer to have a tailgate style bike rack which attaches to a tow bar on a car, but I don't have a tow bar, don't have that style of bike. But both this bike and my wife's bike both need to go into the shop to be repaired, and I can't cycle them in. I could walk them in, but it's 4 miles. That's a thing I didn't anticipate when I got a step-through frame bike. I knew it would take my muscle memory chance to reformulate to work with that style of bike after having ridden this one for so long. But I didn't think, what do you do, Chris, if you need to move this bike without it being under its own power? If you get any ideas, let me know.